Hello, I'm back again, everybody. Welcome. We are joined by three other guests tonight that are going to help me. I'm going to shut up, and I need to shut up. My girlfriend tells me this all the time, anyway. But listen, we're going to be getting into the thick of it, everybody. Make sure you're running up the likes on the video. Really appreciate it. The watch along was a kind of a lot of fun. We were playing noughts and crosses, and we were on mini clip as well, doing jumpers for goalposts. Classic game. I was actually getting into it, to be honest. I forgot all about the game. But tonight we're joined by Matt. Stevie's back, and Dylan's in the building as well.
Evening, guys.
Steve, we'll come to you, mate. What do you want to say? Just help me out.
You really want to hear it? I've got nothing. First 45 minutes, I thought we were dreadful. Burnley back pretty solid. It was a game. To be honest with you, I mean, I thought we might be able to scratch a win out of this.
Yeah.
But I think it was cleared after the first 10 or 15 minutes, as it normally is. You get a vibe. It was just bad. They were bad. We were bad. We couldn't put, throughout the game, we couldn't really set anything up. Going from midfield forward. To be honest with you, I think we missed it. I know Rockwell's not been brilliant last couple of games. He's been a bit out, been a bit hit and miss. But I think we missed some. I think we missed Rothwell tonight. I think we could have done with a bit more creative midfield spark. And I'm gonna be completely honest. Take out Aronson, James. Maybe bring him off second half. Maybe bring him off. Bring him on second half if you want to go down that way. But Aronson did nothing tonight. Solomon had very little. But again, it was kind of on us even with both sides. I thought Pirro was absolutely shocking. I don't know. I don't really have anything really positive to say, and that's not, apart from Joe Rothwell's hair looked quite nice tonight. I thought that's the only thing I've got really positive to say. But I just thought it was a very evenly matched game, and it could have gone either way at any given time. But I think they lacked creativity. They were defensively, pretty solid. Ian Fleming, he had a couple of chances. They had nothing going forward, but then again, neither did we.
Matt, I'll bring you in, mate. Welcome back as well to the channel. Yeah, man, it was. I kind of agree with what Steve was saying there. It was just I didn't know what to dissect from that. I look at Burnley and I think, they're just not going to concede goals. I've just mentioned on the instant match reaction that they've got a good run of sort of 8 fixtures coming now, and if we can't bang goals past them, it's you're kind of looking at these teams like Oxford and maybe Portsmouth and looking at them and thinking they might struggle a little bit. It was probably the worst game of football I've seen in a long time, mate. I think the XG conjured up to maybe, I think it was 0.6 or 0.7 between both teams. I don't know if there was a shot on target. There wasn't. I think there was one. There wasn't any big chances created from either side. Was it for you, Matt? Was it symptomatic of Daniel Farke maybe not doing enough, or Scotty Parker doing what Scotty Parker does at Burnley?
No, it's Farke not doing enough for me. I thought about this, and Farke's a bit up and down how I feel about him. But he's got his top at the moment, so I'm thinking okay. But tonight really disappointed me because we've got that bench with all that firepower, and
thank you.
Why would you not want to go out and win that sort of game? I know Burnley are tough; they've conceded hardly anything, but with our whole squad, why would you not be attacking? Why would you not in the second half? And I know he only brings subs on the 70th, but why would you not think, let's just take these guys apart again, move away? I was quite excited again. I was thinking, we have not pulled away before, but we'll do it this time. But Farke is just predictable. And for the first time, I really thought, if he gets us up, which he will do as a championship manager, he's got to go if we're in the Premier League, because this is what it will be like. And I think one thing the commentator said, which I won't mention his name, but the one thing he did say, which I actually agreed, was that Farker seemed to have that desire not to lose rather than win, and that is Farker. And I just don't understand it, which makes it so much more frustrating, boring, and difficult to watch, because he could change it with that squad, and he doesn't. And when the subs do come on, it's too late. We've been saying this for weeks, and there's just no time for that impact. So for me, Con, it's more about Farker now, and it's too predictable, and we're just not going to push away. And it's not because we don't have the ability to. It's because our manager is happy with a 0-0 away to Burnley, and that mentality for me is that's not a good, strong mentality to get us out and to take these teams apart.
Matt, would you have taken a point before kickoff or not?
No.
Really?
Sorry, these are must wins for me. I know it's away again, Burnley. But my mindset is must win, pull away from these guys. The results went for us again, fortunately, all round. But we haven't done it again. It reminds me like Rotherham last season, when we had to pull away, and then we just had a bad game against those guys as well.
It stunk of Norwich.
It's not good enough.
It stunk of Norwich away in the playoffs for me. It's first leg, wasn't it?
Oh, that first leg.
Yeah, and he went for a draw. Daz, I'll pull you in, mate. Look. I was on your channel before, and you and Dill were saying to me, how do you think this is going to go? I sort of thought the lineup would be what it was, and yeah, sort of I'm patting myself on the back for that one. I thought I nailed it. Gruev in there, Byram at the back, Aronson retaining his position, and Peru. It's 2 assists in 29 for Aronson now. Peru, as my mate David Brown's as mentioned online, I don't think his heart rate got above 70. It was a tough sort of, I mean, look, they did well, didn't they, in a sense, but there was not a lot of creativity at all from Leeds United, Daz, and I do feel maybe the lineup hindered that from the start, and maybe that's what Farker went for, a draw.
Yeah, look what you said, Conor. We spoke about it beforehand, and we kind of said whatever lineup comes out, we'll know what Daniel Farker's thinking. We said if he started with Gruev and Byram, he was going to pretty much go for the draw, risk averse. Yep. Be hard to beat. If he had went with Fairbairn Rotwell, he was really going for it. He didn't. So yeah, reading between the lines with Fark, and you kind of deal with his lineups. We kind of got what we expected. Boring, they'll all draw. But yeah, I think some sort of plaudits still have to go to Burnley, because it's ridiculous, lads. Their defences are just absolutely rock solid. Us, the best attacking team in the division, we didn't really get past them. Dan James, one shot straight down the throat of James Trafford. Other than that, we didn't create whatsoever, and it was kind of hard to tell. Like what you said, Conor, didn't really know what way to dissect it. Were Burnley really good defending, or were we really poor attacking? Because it seemed like a bit of both sides. Now the quality in the match, I think, like what you said, I think there was 4 shots each in the first half. The XG was very, very low. It was one of them typical kind of championship games. I'm a little bit like Matt. I would have liked us to see us go for it a little bit more. I think we probably had that little bit of leeway with Sheffield United and Sunderland slipping up. I think that's probably why I'm a little bit more on the side. We should have just risked it a little bit more and kind of went for it. And we didn't. Yeah, and you see there at the end, and when Gruev is injured, hopefully he's okay. He's bringing on Gilavogi and not Joe Rotwell to try and go and link the game, and that's just the difference with Daniel Fark, and it tells you kind of all you need to know. But yeah, look, it's one of them. You said it as well, Conor, that Fark seems to always kind of have these type of managers where you just can't win against. We've seen it with Russell Martin. We've seen John Eustace. I just hope Scott Parker isn't another of them, and I hope it doesn't go into the whole playoff situation again. I just hope that's the last time we see Burnley again this season, because, yeah, it just feels like Parker has his number. It's on the card of the weekend. It's massive. We need to be winning at home. We need to be picking up 3 points. Coventry then after that, and then it's a tough run of fixtures then after that, then Sunderland, Sheffield United, West Brom as well. So yeah, just a little bit there, and me kind of saying we probably should have just pushed it a little bit more and just take a little bit more risk.
I guess the other thing as well is, imagine watching Burnley every week, and that's what my mate Liam, who was on the channel previously, he was saying, he was messaging me throughout, and I was just telling the chat. He said, I said, "What did you end up doing?" He said, "I went to the cinema." He went, "I'm not watching that." And I went, "What?" And he went, "Burnley." No, he didn't mention Leeds, and he went, "Scott Parker football, mate. We do this with absolutely everyone." I went and had a look at the results, and it's like 8-0 draws. and he just went, "I cannot believe you did a live stream watching that," and obviously you lads did as well.
Oh, it was horrendous.
But he just said that's, you know, and they've had so many 1-0s as well. I think they've had about 4 1-0s, 8 0-0s. It is. They just stifle you, don't they? And even at Ellen Road, you could see that. I mean, I feel like we had a little bit more at Ellen Road, but let's not get away from the fact, lads, that, you know, apart from that Joseph miss, it was few and far between. It was it just, yeah, it is, but I don't think Burnley are going to be far away because of that, because they're just minging to play against.
So I'm very, very frustrated, being honest with you. Very, very frustrated. I think, you know, considering Sheffield United dropping points, I think any time, you know, we drop points, they pounce. When they drop points, we don't pounce. And that's what frustrates me. I should be seeing that from a different perspective. I think the starting lineup was wrong. I'm delighted to see Gruev start. I do call that. But I think Fairbairn should have been in there. Now, not that Boyram done anything wrong, but just to give us that bit of the wit, you know. A positive note, I think Bogle was absolutely phenomenal tonight, lads.
Yeah.
I really do. Look, of a bad bunch, he really shined the light, and his performances have just been continuously. But going into the first half, you know, Burnley were playing side-to-side football, you know, big switches every now and again, and every time Leeds did get the ball, you know, the build-up play was too slow, yet again. Very frustrating. From my perspective of Ethan Ampadu, it's probably the worst performance I've ever seen him in a Leeds shirt. His passing was horrendous, lads. He gave the ball away too many times for me. He made a cracking tackle that wasn't a free kick. That was the only positive I can say about him. And from Elan Meslier, I don't want to see him in a Leeds jersey again, because I think he's absolutely shocking. Corner came in and he's in no man's land again. He's looking around, flapping again. It's too many errors to keep going on. You can't keep dropping points or losing stupidly with, you know, just inconsistent problems. But other than that, you could say it's a point, and obviously we'll take it. We have no choice but to take it. But I just feel like come the end of the season, it could be something that we're going to regret. You know,
lads, I want to bring this in as well. And Liam's just mentioned this. I don't know if any of you have caught this post-match reaction. Just want to get your thoughts on this. Baron Cross has asked about transfers. I have not checked my phone for the last 6 hours. I will check after this press conference. Perhaps I can tell you more in the next one. I mean, what do you make of that? Like, is that? I mean, I did not expect to hear him saying that, to be honest with you. Are you thinking he's just, I don't know, playing the field a little bit, or do you think, Steve? How do you look at that, mate?
Well, it brings me back to the rotation thing. I think if we, you know, I just want to make a point about something you said earlier on one of the other streams. You said, should we be playing conservative football? Well, no, we shouldn't. Not with what we've got on the bench. I mean, if you look at the value what's on that bench, right? It's up. It's north of 30 million. Who else in the Championship has got 30 million quid's worth of players sat on the bench that can bar maybe Nonto that can effectively turn a game around at any given time? We've seen it with the last 2 games. Ramazani's been great. You know, why are we not utilising him? Why should we be subjected, or why should Farker think it's okay to play conservative football?
Well, Steve, in fact, what John just said: Chef U 0, Hull 3, Sunderland 2, Plymouth 2, Burnley 0, Leeds 0. Surely on paper we had the hardest fixture and we've come out unscathed. Massive overreaction here. How do you take that one? How do you take that?
Why should the point is we should never go out and play for the draw. Never. We should go out and play for a win. If we're going to sit back, it's like what Matt said earlier. If we're going to sit back and you know, dominate, fine. But if we're going to dominate, we've got to play forward. And we offered nothing in that area tonight. You know, so why should we be? Why are we playing conservative football with the strength that we've got on the bench and the strength we've got on the field? Every player on that field tonight looked like they'd just come out from a night out.
How would you have started, Steve? How would you have gone?
Ramazani, I would have rested Aronson. He's cropped. James maybe brought him on in the second half. You know, you can't run players ragged. It won't work. And if Farke can't see that, he's going to end up, that potentially we could end up with one or two players that are absolutely jammed in the next 2 or 3 games if they don't get rest. Rotate a little bit. What have we got to lose?
Exactly.
What do we have to lose?
This is why he's got the wrong mentality, though. This is the point.
Exactly.
Why have we got this manager? Again, I say he'll hopefully get us up, but he hasn't got the right mentality for this club and to win. He'll get by because it's the Championship, and we'll get through, even if it becomes a scrape through now. I'm not sure. But he just doesn't have that winning mentality for the club, which is why I say earlier he will need to go if we get up to the Premier League. Just in that quote, Connor, I mean, I still think nothing will happen in the transfer window with Farke. And that comment...
I'm a little bit like that. I think the same.
Yeah. I think the comment, do you remember, his comment, though, reminds me of that other comment where he says he doesn't look at the league table to the 40th game.
Rubbish.
Something like that. So doesn't look at his phone for, 6, I don't know. I just think he winds us up with that sort of stuff with Farke, and I don't think there's no meaning to it.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not Farke out. I think from a business perspective, it would be wrong. And I think that, to be honest with you, there's nobody else with some type of pedigree that can keep us going from the position that we're at now. So I'm not saying in any way, shape or form that I want Farke out. Plenty of people are. I'm just saying, mix it up, chuck something else in there, use a bit of, I'd hate to be him at the minute with all the players knocking on his door. How come I can't get on the field?
I agree, because I think that's maybe something that we fell short on last season, is we didn't utilise our bench a bit more, because we were relying on 3 individuals that
absolutely
were fantastic footballers, don't get me wrong, but like, considering when you look at the Leeds United bench, you're going out, like, well, I don't know about you guys, but me especially, like you were saying, that's a serious bench.
I thought even Solomon in this one was struggling a little bit. I thought he struggled a little bit. I think I think he should have been maybe taken off in this one. And you've kind of got that like for like dynamic substitute, haven't you, in Ramazani, really? And even if you're not putting Aronson, if you're not bringing Aronson off, I mean, Solomon in that one, I think needed taken off a little bit earlier for me.
He was under a bit of pressure though, Connor, wasn't he? Like, it wasn't for the want to try him, but you could see they had a game plan for him. They knew that he was a dangerous one, because every time he got the ball, Jayden Ante was sprinting back, and he and Connor Roberts were doubling up on him all the time, every time he had the ball. So he found it hard for me today to kind of create anything. But yeah, I agree with you. It wasn't working from Ramazani. When he did come on, it was a little bit unimpressed. We didn't get the ball to him enough, I think, for him to kind of impact the game. Probably thought Firpo should have came on as well. We seen what he done against Norwich when he came on down the left-hand side. Gave us a bit of a spark going forward. He didn't. He persisted with Boyram. So, yeah, I think Farke just went there to play for the draw. To me, I had the feeling of West Brom away at that time when he wanted to kind of just stem the flow. Happy, go there, set up, hard to break down, take the draw, and move on to the next one. The commentator was obviously coming out unscathed. Yeah, when you look at it on paper, it is the toughest game, but it just felt like there was a bit of a carrot there dangling for us today to go get 3 points. Not saying go all out, and risk losing the game, but it just felt like there was no risk at all today. I don't know about any use. It was just even our forward passing at times just wasn't there. You could see players making runs, and we were just holding on for too long. It was like all over the pitch, we were just content with the draw, and I think that's probably the most disappointing thing, like what Steve says as well, is that you need to go and try and win football matches, and when you don't do that, that's where the disappointment comes from. Not a bad draw, we do take away, move forward, but it's the way that we play football. You just want to see a little bit more from your side, don't you?
I think, like, considering all that as well, like the side-to-side football and the build-up play itself was too slow. Like, throughout the whole game, that's all I kept commenting on, how slow the build-up play was. Couldn't get anything kind of sharp, free-flowing football to a certain degree. And what didn't help as well, that the ref was absolutely abysmal as well.
Oh,
disgraceful.
Well, I guess some positives to take out of it in a sense. Scott Parker said it smelled like a 0-0, and that's what it was. Felt his side was second best in the second half. But what we've done defensively this year is remarkable. 20 clean sheets. My goodness me. We've picked up 4 points and not conceded to arguably the best team in the league. I mean, is that the context? Is that the context? The fact that I mean, are they even, lads? Did they even? I'm watching that game, and I didn't think. I actually thought they were quicker than us at build up from back to front. To be honest, I thought we were quite ponderous.
It's so much space, Connor. was mad looking at them. I said it to Darren, and Darren was like, "Why they were so?" I could honestly see more Burnley players than I could see Leeds players.
Yeah.
They were just everywhere.
They didn't really have it, though. They didn't really test us. The only ones that come to mind is the Fleming header in the first half when he's free as a board. Probably should be doing more there, and then the header as well, where he's a bit of pressure on him, goes wide of the post. Other than that, you could see why they've the least goal scored in the top 6. You could see why they've the best defensive record in the league. That was just a typical Burnley performance. Like,
but why can't we be the team though that breaks that Burnley performance?
Yeah,
So,
sorry,
you
yeah.
know,
I agree.
we got one of the best squads, maybe the best squad. And we're just adding to those stats of not being able to break down Burnley or get a result. And I don't understand why we can't just be the team that actually can. And I know that there's obviously lots of reasons, but there was nothing on the left-hand side today for me. Solomon did his check-in again when he could have gone wide. He's not a pacey winger, so he couldn't run after the balls.
Is
on
there
that
something,
side.
Matt, is there something there though, mate? Like, because I can't remember. I mean, even under Farker, to be fair, even in those Southampton games where we created more of an XG, I cannot remember how Leeds under Farker playing that badly. And I'm saying that. So what I'm suggesting here is there anything that, you know, to just suggest that Burnley, you know, we're coming from a point of view of very much like, well, you know, Leeds should have done X, Y, and Z here. You know, we should. But against this Burnley side, we're talking about 20 clean sheets, we're talking about 9 goals conceded. Do we have to bring that into context, Matt, or is that just going to go against Daniel Farker because he maybe didn't utilise what was on the bench enough?
Yeah, it's going to go for me. For me, it's going to go against him. Like, you know, let's start with Ramazani then in that number 10 because we want to win. Let's put Firpo on the left to give us width. He's coming back to speed now because we want to win. The Championship, I know I'm getting frustrated now and it's late, so I should be doing this before bed. But it's just, yeah, I guess it's just around the mentality. Burnley are a good defensive team. I get that, but I just think our squad this year with the players we've got to maybe break down teams like that, that we'd be able to do it this year. That's just what's really frustrating for me. Yes, they've conceded hardly anything, but I just want to be that team. It's not entitled either. It's just having a positive mentality to win and get promoted. And I just want to be that team, or us to have that team that can do that and beat teams like Burnley, like we beat Sheffield United, like we can beat. Well, no, we didn't beat Sunderland, did we? Because of Melier, but hopefully we'll beat them next time. But yeah, it's just being positive around that, really. And I'm leaning more to us should be doing more. But
yeah, I agree, Matt. It is. It's just. It's like, Bob, I think it's kind of the rhetoric is that you just want to see your team go for it a little bit more. You don't want to see us just sitting and be happy taking a draw. Exactly. I think that's kind of the overriding feeling of us all.
I think as well, that just to answer some of the people who are, you know, saying, you know, almost you can't, but you can't have an alternate opinion here. And Jay said, why can't we be the team that break those results? Is an unreasonable mentality. I agree with Connor. There's 2 teams out there, and they happen to be the best defense in the league. That's true, mate. I think this is interesting though. With our next 6, I think you look at these games. This is why, for all maybe the people in the chat who are like, you know, it's a good point, this, that, and the other. I think it is. I think what I will say is the Cardiff one, you're probably looking at and thinking, you know, it's a. I mean, Leeds have to get the points there. We have to get all 3 points. I think Coventry 4 wins on the bounce under Lampard. Watford haven't done well this year, but we know what sort of game that is. Hopefully, we can go down there and turn that around a little bit, even though they've got the 4th best home form in the division. Sunderland, Sheffield United, and West Brom is. I mean, it's literally 3 of the top 5, isn't it? So they are tough games, and Leeds are probably going to drop points in maybe one of those. You'd expect potentially 2, and hopefully won all 3, but you never know. So I think the point is, everybody, is this is why I think people are a little bit frustrated at the fact that maybe we haven't taken advantage of Burnley today. You know, when we had that advantage of other teams dropping points, I think that is the context. It's the long-term vision, isn't it, lads? It's looking at this and thinking this maybe is why fans are a little bit concerned now, because other teams around us have probably more favourable fixtures than what Leeds have here.
Yeah, I think between Cardiff, let's say Coventry and Sunderland, there's definitely a draw, at least one draw there because of 2 away games on the bounce. Maybe, hopefully not. Maybe a win at Watford. I'm not so I'm a bit twitchy about Coventry. Sunderland at home, they're definitely going to they're definitely going to turn up. And then Sheffield United, well, we'll see. But I'd rather play West Brom before Sunderland. If I'd have had a choice, I'd have rather played West Brom before Sunderland, grab 3 there, and you've got a little bit of leeway depending on other results that go for Sunderland and Sheffield United.
Yeah, I agree with what you said there. Like, I think that the carrot was kind of dangled to kind of go and extend that lead a little bit. It's a tough run of fixtures coming up, especially when you look at Watford, Sunderland, Sheffield United, West Brom. Like, that is a tough run. So you're kind of thinking tonight, if you go there, get the 3 points, give us a bit of breathing space on them, 6 points, 4 ahead of Sheffield United. Even if you do what you say, Steve, like if you happen to draw one there, even possibly lose, when you still have that little bit, of comfort, and then you do go and play them as well. So yeah, I suppose that's kind of where it comes from a little bit. But like what Conor said, like, we have to be taking on 3 at Cardiff now the weekend. There has to be no slip-ups. We need to go beat them. Coventry on a good run. It's not easy in after Coventry, Watford, Sunderland, Sheffield United, West Brom. Like, that's a tough run.
Yeah.
I agree. I completely agree. I genuinely think, a lot of people keep saying, this is the run that Leeds are going to get. This is the run that Leeds are going to get. And I'm still waiting. I'm constantly waiting. And that's what's kind of frustrating me a little bit. But look, I can't shine away at the fact that Burnley were good. Like, defensively, they were solid. And it was hard for Leeds to break down. What irritates me, though, as I said, it's just that slow tempo football. It's way too slow. It's just irritating me. An awful lot, and it's hard to watch.
Do you think Sorry, I was going to say, do you think Farke's relying too much on stats instead of points? Thinking that stats are going to get us up for,
He likes to bring it back to the 2 points per game, like, all the time. I don't think it's even that, Steve. I think he's very defensive minded first. He's very much don't lose the game first and then try and go win it. I think that's just always been Farke, and I think we see that, and you can just see it, by his lineups and what he's kind of thinking in his head when he's going like a little bit more attacking. He kind of feels like they're there for the taking, and then today, then you feel like he's obviously a little bit nervous about it and decides to go with a little bit more defensive wise. I didn't think to start Gruev. We spoke to Conor before the game, and Dylan Conor kind of brought me around to the thinking of starting Gruev with a little bit more solidness in there. But yeah, I thought he should have went with Firpo just to give us a little bit more going forward. You'd like to think that there's some sort of risk in the team, but when you see he's starting Boyer, then you just know, exactly what he's thinking then.
Yeah.
And his favourite, he's got a lot of favourites as well, I think, despite them, a lot of them being tired. I think they're just solid, and what he just wants to play is safe guys that he trusts. So, and I think sometimes the favourites, though, for a season long as this, I think he just needs to change it up sometimes with that squad, and that's another thing that I think he struggles with sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. Right, well, lads, let's leave it there. There's not that much to touch on, but I think we tried, Conor. We tried to drag as much we could.
Come on, lads, get your pajamas on.
Let's fire out with a positive. So I guess I'll go with one. Let's all go with one, lads. So we end it on a little bit more of a high. Right. I'm going to go with it's a game less, and we're still top of the division. Matt, I'm going to go with you. It's like children's stuff, isn't it? You go. You say your nice thing now.
Well, the positive is we are still top of the league. We've increased by another point, and we will get promoted. There we go.
Lovely, Steve-O.
Yeah, still top. Nice little cushion and goal difference. And I kind of feel I've got echo the same sentiment. I still think we'll go up. I think we're going to make hard work of it, but we'll go up. Yeah, definitely.
That's
Jayden Bogle. That was the positive today for me. Just love watching him playing football.
You've nicked Dylan's there.
Yeah.
I have another good one.
Yeah, Jayden Bogle for me was a positive today. Just I'm loving watching him playing football at the minute. His versatility coming inside, doing the overlap. Looks really, really dangerous. Probably the one that stood out. Probably my Leeds man of the match today. And then, like what Matt said, you get a point. We're after extending the lead a little bit more. So, yeah, take the point, move on to Cardiff.
Dill, if you say Peru, mate, I might have to just exit you from there.
No, honestly, he was bad. Now look, we're top. Agree with Matt. It's another point on the board. We're definitely going up, and then I'm going to Cardiff. I'm going to Ellen Road on Saturday against Cardiff, but buzzing, so I can't wait. So looking forward to that
Good
one.
man.
That's my bit of positivity.
Good man. Andy says so you're all contradicting the last 30 minutes. No,
Exactly,
mate.
Andy. We are.
That's what we do. But no, mate, I think you got to dissect the game, and I think it's like a bit of a mind my French. It's a bit of a shit sandwich, isn't it? You kind of got to start with the the positives, get into some of the negatives, and end with the positive. I think that's how I've always kind of been brought up. Sometimes with Leeds, it's just shit, and you're not in any sort of sandwich. So it's kind of something to pull away from. But lads, thanks for joining. Check out Only Leeds Bros. Obviously,
Cheers,
guys,
Connor.
make sure you do that. These guys are ploughing on through and doing really well. And Matt and Steve, top lads from the Patreon, and these lads are on every single week. So show them some love in the comments afterwards. It's been an absolute pleasure, everyone, and we'll see you in a bit. Cheers.